Hi, my name is Navjeet Grewal. I'm a leadership coach and I work with executives and leaders and I help them perform their roles effectively. So with me here is Sumantha. Sumantha, would you like to introduce yourself?
Hi, I'm Sumantha Chandrashekara. I come with an experience in the software field, in the corporate field of around 20 years, with the experience in different roles. Like I have played the role of a team member, then have played the role of the team leader, and also a manager right now. So this is me in short. So,
Brilliant. So the topic here we have chosen is why some people find it difficult to say no.
yep.
And would you start, Samantha, and share your experience, or why do you think people find it difficult to say no?
Yes, and yeah, this is probably one of the most important challenge that we are facing in the corporate world. That most of us cannot say a no, and without saying a no, we end up in a lot of the issues. Uh, just to quote some examples where we cannot say no or where we do not say no is we say it's a Friday evening, and then we have planned to go somewhere or go on a trip later that night or something like that. And then my manager comes up to me and says that okay, there is something boiling, and then could you please look into it now? It would not take you more than 2 hours, but I know the reality that it would take me more than 2 hours, or it would take me some couple of hours more. So in that case, also, I would not be in a comfortable position to go upfront to him and say that no, I cannot do it now because I have plans. Uh, or in case where I have a solid plan, maybe I will make up my mind and tell it. But if I don't have any plans, I will say that okay, I will look into it and then I will continue my work. So. And this is something that I have also faced in the initial phases of my career as well. And even now as well, like where I play the role of a manager as well. There, like I see both the sides of the coin here now. Like somebody who reports to me comes up to me and says that he cannot do or he or she cannot do a work, and then uh, then or as a request for something that request for a long leave as well where I would be in a situation where I cannot approve it directly because there are some issues, or where I would have to talk to my management and get it approved and things like that. And also on the other side, that when I talk to my management or my management comes up to me and assigns me something where I cannot say no. So that is also a difficult position. So yeah, so this is something most of us would want the art of saying no. Uh, so yes, so this
Yes.
is
Yeah, so
this
I,
is
I think this is
quite a
this is
challenge.
this is quite a common issue, because I often, when I work with certain clients, they find it really hard to say
Yeah,
no to their
yeah,
bosses, given the situation, given the hierarchy, like the position, or as we were discussing the other day, like
yeah.
your time of employment, whether you are a new
Yes,
you're a beginner, like you're new into the job or new into the role, and you're still trying to understand, or especially if you're new to the culture, like you're still trying to
yes,
adjust yourself, and but there are other reasons as well, like people find it difficult to say no because maybe they don't feel very confident inside, or they are not very sure how this is going to end up, how the boss is going to see it. Maybe
yep,
they will be seen as somebody who's not ready to do extra work, or
yeah,
not very like uh, they are someone who's complaining about or giving
yeah, right.
excuses,
So
or
this,
yeah, And sometimes also it's not only that, sometimes people do feel left out as well. They see there are other people who are ready to jump on to taking additional responsibilities because there is a lot of competition around and all that stuff. And I've also seen is like, some people actually, saying no can feel guilty about it as well. It depends on
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
it
yes.
depends on how the other person has mentioned it, or
Mm.
sort of presented it to you. It's like, oh, we really need this help, and this is something very, very urgent, and where I'm like, give it, like, I'm not saying you, but anybody who's an empath, who's like very understanding and who's like, oh, I really need
Yeah.
to help this
Mm.
person. And yeah, so it becomes quite difficult because of various reasons. But I think the main, the factor which comes to my mind is the big. I think it is the biggest factor of not saying no is fear of losing out, or
Yeah.
yeah, don't you think so?
Yeah, yeah, it's mostly the fear of losing out most of the times where when somebody comes up to us and then like, okay, if we say no, like somebody else might grab that opportunity, or it can be. I think we always live in this constant fear that okay, if I don't prove myself, I might
Mm,
lose the job, because it's a competitive world out there, right? So we will
mm,
always have this fear somewhere in the mind, even though we trust our abilities to the maximum extent. We know that okay, even if I lose this job, I'm gonna get another job. But
mm,
still, somewhere probably we are not in a mentality to accept that so easily, and
yeah,
that becomes really hard. So that's where we end up doing things, even the things that we don't like as well.
yeah.
And probably the other side also, one is like getting additional responsibilities or additional tasks. The other side is, as you mentioned, it is like uh, when I'm doing something good, and then my manager or somebody from the senior management comes to me and then grabs it away from me and gives it to somebody else for some
Mm,
can be for some stupid reason. But then even then I would not be able to confront the management and say that, okay, no, yes, like, don't do it. And like, because I'm doing it, I'm nearing completion and things like that.
yeah.
So, yeah, so this is predominantly, this has to do with the environment that we work in as well,
Mm,
right? So it's
mm,
like,
mm.
if as you mentioned, if we have the management, empathetical management, for example, and then they understand that okay, then they if they create that comfortable workplace, then it is easy for us to go up and say that no, it is not possible, and things like that. But yeah, so I
Yeah,
think
but that's an ideal world, That's
yeah,
like
exactly, we don't live in an ideal world, right? So
yeah, yeah. I mean, like when you go out there, like depending on the culture of the organization, your bosses, like how confident or secure or how relaxed they are in their system, like that is what you experience as well. If there is bit of toxicity and there is that bit of, that competition that the one slip you make, the one mistake you make, and the other person is going to grab that opportunity. That sort of, that sort of fear or unsettled sort of work environment can create a lot of fear. And but what comes to my mind is that if you are constantly agreeing to do things, you're constantly agreeing to. So one, it sort of, it does affect your, well-being, your mental health,
yeah,
your
yeah,
well-being. It does become very overwhelming at times, because you don't have time for other things, other
yeah,
issues. And also, like you would be feeling, or somebody, like people in the organization would be feeling that, yes, I am, if I don't say no, if I am always ready there, if I'm always saying yes, and if I'm always taking additional responsibility, then I am proving I am stating this to my boss that I'm very competitive and I'm there all the time, taking the responsibility and all that. However, it does not always come across like this,
Yeah.
because psychologically, if you are, or if a person is always saying yes and always being so easy to sort of, take on the responsibility and everything, chances are the impression it is going to the other person is that, oh, this is a person, he's very easygoing, he or she is very easygoing, he or she, is somebody who doesn't confront, somebody who doesn't, you know, uh, he or she is not very assertive. So it can sort of psychologically create that kind of an impression on it can actually it can damage, that sort of your impression on other people, especially your bosses. They can see you as not very assertive, not very someone who is very firm on what they're doing or what they're
Yes.
saying.
Yeah.
So do you think so as well? Because I feel taking being there all the time and not saying no. People, yes, there are people who will definitely exploit you.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah,
and
definitely. Yeah, there are all these kind of people. Some people who most people would exploit,
yeah,
and
yeah,
then there are few people who would definitely take it as a negative. That
yeah.
it's like I think we most of the software world we have moved into a model called agile model where
Mm,
the key pillar of that is transparency, and there if we as a team every member should be transparent about the
mm,
things,
mm.
but then if we are not saying no, then we are not abiding the whole value itself, value system itself. So yeah, so that is also one aspect of it. And also, this I think for what I've observed is it's more of a cultural aspect as well. Because when
Mm,
I have worked for with in Europe for a pretty long time now, and there what I see is we Indians naturally, like in generally what we do is we are ready to accept the smaller tasks. We are ready to uh, sit for longer hours and work on
mm,
tasks.
mm,
So
mm,
this is
mm.
also creating an impact on the locals here, saying that okay, when somebody else comes in and then like works like this, because they would have had this culture of 8 hours a day work and for longer and longer time, and then like we come in and we disrupt the whole system. So because
Yeah,
we do not
yeah.
say no, so there again, it is definitely creating impact or in the negative sense. So it is like they start looking at us in a negative manner. So it's like
Mm.
okay, they're simply working, and then so maybe yeah, this. What I've seen is at least culturally it is there in us Indians, most of us.
I think
But
yeah, definitely it is a
yeah,
cultural thing as
yeah,
well, that you shouldn't say no. I mean, I don't know. There is a sort of a, like subtle that kind of an understanding within our culture.
yeah.
We are very hesitant of rightfully saying no,
Yeah,
and
yeah, exactly. I
yeah,
think that
yeah.
is that is a skill we do not develop growing up as well. So it is like,
Yeah, yeah.
yeah,
So, but somehow, because it doesn't always get to you what you really, really want.
yes,
So, it does have its negative consequences. It
yep,
is not one, it is not creating the right impression. And also, I feel, if you're too overwhelmed, and if you have too many things on your hand, if you are not getting your time, for other things, even for your like family or, like
Yeah,
after work,
yeah,
work-life balance,
yeah.
which takes a toll on you as you are, doing the work. So it does affect your work in the long term, like
Yeah,
the
yeah, yeah.
the performance as well, isn't
Yeah,
it?
yeah. Yeah, it would definitely make us less efficient.
Mm,
Because like instead of giving my 100% to a task, then I start giving only like 60% to a task and say that
yeah,
okay,
yeah.
this is the best that I can do. So yeah, so
And
this will definitely impact in the negative manner a lot.
yeah. And also, I have sometimes felt, I mean, there are chances,
Mhm.
if you're like too overwhelmed, and like the chances that one does make a lot of mistakes, and the work doesn't come off as good, or the way you could have done it better. It's like, and also one of the things which I have noticed is like, like especially the senior executives and all, like if they don't get much time for other things, like more strategic things, because you need time for strategic planning, or like putting yourself out there for promotions and all that stuff,
Mhm.
if you're like taking too much of load on yourself.
Yes.
So what do you think about that?
This will definitely happen.
Mm-hmm.
Like for instance, if I get a new task to do, something which I've not done so far, then I would have to invest in a certain amount of time to understand it, and then strategize how to do it the best way, and then optimize the things which are already existing, and see that what like how can I achieve the best results there. But yeah, when I'm overwhelmed, then this would be a problem. Then okay, like I will not get much time to strategize things, and then I will have to dive into the activity directly.
Mm-hmm.
And there it is like then we end up doing more mistakes than what was expected, and then like just because of the pressure that we have, like if a task is supposed to take only 3 days, just because of this, because of not planning this, not strategizing this, and then just jumping into the pool, this would lead us into a chaotic situation. Then this 3 day task would take me 6 or 7 days. So,
Mm-hmm.
and which is what is happening across the corporate world now. So, which is like previously there was an emphasis on quality of the product, which
Mm-hmm.
is now gone for a toss. It's like just deliver it on time is what people are
Mm-hmm.
doing, but the quality factor is totally gone. So
Mm-hmm.
this is a very key issue, just not from the individual perspective, but also from the company perspective. It is this is something which is bothering most of the people across the world.
Yeah.
Yet nobody is taking a step to overcome this. So.
Mm. So probably, the system is affecting everyone then, whosoever is involved in it.
Yeah,
Yeah,
exactly.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
So we get into the system and we just become part of the system at the
Exactly.
end of the day.
Yeah, yeah. So I mean, that's the thing, if you say, oh, your boss is not doing it, but probably his bosses, or the whole system is affecting or putting the pressure on him, or her as well, to sort of, he or she is also living in that fear of, oh, things going wrong, or he or she losing that position or whatever. So that brings us to this, so what should be the ideal this thing? There is no ideal solution to anything, actually. It's like when you get into it. But however, what I have sort of worked with certain clients of mine, and which seems to work, is like, see, what I mentioned before is that agreeing to everything and saying yes to everything and not saying no has its negative consequences,
Yeah.
and if one really needs to sort of work through and be successful in their roles and in their careers, and not get too overwhelmed with the work pressure and everything, so the best approach is to use the situation in a more positive way. So what I mean by that is like rather than always saying yes to it, you know, it's so one thing is if you are saying yes to everything, then you are putting yourself out there,
Yeah.
being that you're not very assertive, you're not very sort of good at, putting boundaries, and, like you are not sounding as somebody who's very confident or somebody who's, ready to take charge. So the best thing here is to focus on, being assertive and putting all those boundaries so that the other person also sees you as someone who is capable of handling these kind of tough situations. And so the best possible way is to negotiate. So if like someone is saying, oh, I really need you to do this, and if you are not in this position, so you can possibly suggest, that oh, I'm currently working with in this project, and this project, I'm very committed to deliver this project at a certain time. However, I'm really grateful that you have chosen me, or you're giving this additional responsibility. So if you could negotiate around that, if you could work towards that, would it be okay if I can do it
Yeah.
later, or if
Something
the
with valid reasoning,
yeah,
right?
but something with valid, so that you come across as somebody who is not somebody who's complaining, not somebody who is giving excuses, which is the case,
Yeah.
isn't it? You don't want
Yes.
to miss out, you don't want to lose, you don't want to sound as rude or
Yeah.
complaining, or
Yeah.
so the thing is to present it in a way that you are offering solution to the other person. And you are negotiating, you are being strategic, and you are being assertive. You have certain boundaries, you're committed to your work, but you are also offering to help. You're also providing solutions, you know, rather than just seeing this as a problem and this problem that you can't solve or you can't handle. You are also offering this solution to the other person. So you are coming across as someone who is assertive, who is committed, who is focused, and who is ready to help, you know,
Right.
without being, saying that, oh, my work is my work, like so, some people go to that extent as well. It's like,
Yes. Yeah. That is true. That is
yeah.
true.
So
Yeah.
I mean, so some people can come across very threatening at times as well,
Yeah.
So which is obviously not good as well. So I think that how do you sort of shape that? How do you sort of present that, so that it works in your favor rather than going against you. Um, However, I
So,
think, yeah,
yeah, yeah,
sorry.
yeah. So I think, yeah, as you suggested, it is good to know the scope of the things that we are doing, and then also assess ourselves and see that, okay, if we can do this additional task in the stipulated time, and then probably, yeah, talk to the management on with facts, show them
Yeah.
the facts that what is happening, and then say that, okay, I cannot do it in this time frame. Maybe give me a different time frame. I will be able to achieve it.
Yeah.
So this should be reasonable.
It should be reasonable, and
Yes.
maybe coming across as not negative, but in a
Yeah. Yeah.
positive way, in a
Yeah.
positive way, that I am keeping it very short, very firm. Right now, I'm very occupied with this work, and I'm committed to deliver this work.
Yeah.
But can we work around this, and can I do it in like few days, or like negotiate that time with more sort of problem solving attitude. And um, and if the person is in front of you is saying that, oh no, this is very urgent and this is very sort of important, then why not suggest somebody else's name, like you suggest
Yeah.
somebody else's
Yeah.
name,
Yeah.
whereas you are not somebody who is coming out as an insecure person or anything. Maybe you can suggest your colleague's name or like who you trust can handle this issue. And what I would suggest is, like to be very sort of when, and even when somebody is suggesting this to their bosses or whosoever, should suggest it with a lot of confidence and a lot of firmness, basically, not like feeling too sort of, like not very apologetic or not very with the body language of, oh, I don't know what's going to happen and all that.
Yeah,
So
yeah,
one has to be very sort of, go with a lot of security. Because in the end of the day, I think everybody is looking for people who can solve problems,
right.
who can give
Yes.
solutions rather than be a problem or not. So you are not you are not doing their work right there and then. You're not offering a solution right there and then, but you are negotiating to do it or however
Yeah,
get it done. Getting it
yeah,
done, that is the objective, so getting it done, and how you negotiate it, how you sort of uh, communicate this is very important.
yeah, that is true. And thanks for that suggestion. It is actually something that is not difficult to implement. It is just that we also need to develop that self-belief in us.
Yeah,
Maybe that's a
yeah,
topic
yeah.
for another discussion that
Yeah,
I can have
yeah.
with
I think
you.
that is very important, like
Yes,
if
yes.
one is still feeling very insecure about, then one has to ask, that maybe that is something which needs to be worked on, like
Yes.
if suppose you, and also it's not only with the person, maybe the other person on the other end could be that kind of a toxic boss, who's like
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, yeah,
bent upon, but
yeah.
in that case, when you have done your bit, you have done the negotiations and all that stuff, even then, if you feel that is not happening, then one should keep on working on keeping the other options available. Then they should know,
Yes.
what needs to be. So you have to like cover yourself in every way. I guess that is
Yeah.
something which is an ongoing work, I think, so because it's a tough world out there,
Yeah,
it's not
yeah, and
easy.
coincidentally, today is the day when I started reading articles about the CEO of a company called L&T Services has made a
Hmm.
statement that you should work for 90 hours a week and
Yeah.
then you should work even on the weekends. You would be bored of seeing your partner's face at house, so you should come to office even on weekends and work. So
Oh,
this is the
really?
world that we live in, unfortunately.
Yeah, yeah,
So
yeah. Yeah, and I would say if you're not doing your office work, you should be working on yourself. You
yeah,
know,
yeah, right.
that is very, very important. Like, one has to keep on improving themselves to be that confident, that you are in that position to negotiate confidently, like
Yes.
that is very, very important. So, um,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah. Thank you.
And
Uh,
so that brings us to the end of our conversation. Anything else you would
yeah.
like to add?
Nothing else for now. This has been a valuable discussion. There are a lot of insights that I carry from here. But again, this also leaves us with with certain questions, which is of a different topic or related to self-belief, and then how to set goals individually, right?
Yeah,
So, like, what happens in the corporate life is there is at least for the work perspective there is some goals set from our management and then we work on those goals, but as you are mentioning about self improvement, and then how do we set goals for that, and then how do we work on that is something interesting that I would want to hear from you in the next session maybe.
definitely. I would love to
Yeah,
talk about it. Yeah.
yeah.
Thank you so much, Samantha.
Thank
Yeah.
you.
Yeah, thank
Have a
you.
nice day. Bye
Bye.
bye.